Okay, so this video was going to come out like a week ago, but then I fell into Cyberpunk and got lost being a cyber ninja. So, yeah, we're here now. In my most recent video, I hypothesized that Hunter the Parenting would be bringing the Fae into the mix somewhere in the near future. So, this is probably a good idea, just preemptively to give some people a little context as to what these are. But I feel the need to throw this out there first. World of Darkness is esoteric as all hell. I feel like Gandalf poring over musty old books for 17 years when I research this stuff. And that even applies to Hunter, Vampire, and Werewolf. You know, the game lines people actually play. So, finding what's what on shit like Wraith or Mummy, like, if you expect all the answers, you're asking too much of me. I'm sorry, I'm not strong enough. I'm God's strongest princess, a YouTuber, and he gives me his hardest battles, reading books. So in the end, I'm trying my best over here. But the further we go down the iceberg, the harder it gets to get stuff right. I'm sorry I didn't read a one-off magazine article from 1987. That's the only source on canon Fae mating rituals. It's not going to be in the video. Please, all I'm asking for is a little grace here. Anyway, fairies. Except, with a lot of things in World of Darkness, to explain something in one game line, we have to start in another. Way back when, in a time long forgotten, the world was once a more whimsical place. Magic, dragons, fairies, telephone cords that won't tangle up, any mythical thing you could imagine could be found. But every party needs a pooper, that's why they invited the technocracy. A bunch of mages that claim to be guided by reason in reshaping the world to their liking. The technocracy arbitrarily decided no fun allowed, and shut down anything they deemed shouldn't be normal. In a setting where belief and knowledge shape reality, as you can expect, this caused a drastic shift in the cosmic order of things. As humanity leaned more towards the cold hard facts of the technocracy's paradigm, this shunted the more whimsical elements of reality out to the dreaming, a realm that can be handily summarized by this art. The dreaming is a realm where human dreams take shape, contorting reality, in much the same way human memories of the material world shape the Shadowlands. Fairies are the spirits native to the dreaming, and are as wild in variety as you can expect from their chaotic home. Fairies run on glamour, the energy that fuels the dreaming and all within it, which is generated by human wonder and whimsy. Opposite to glamour is banality, things that meet the technocracy's paradigm of reality, things like banks, highways, taxes, offices, divorce papers. All of these things generate banality, a force that kills Fae the longer they linger in it. At the forefront of this branch of World of Darkness are, of course, the Changelings. How Changelings came to be initially has been lost to time. Some hypothesize it was Adam and Eve that spooted them out, but Fae supremacists don't like that one, so be careful where you say that in the dreaming. Point being, they're half human, half Fae. When a Fae chooses to undergo the Changeling way to become a Changeling, they will incarnate, placing their soul in a human infant and incarnating as a Changeling. This is typically done to resist banality and interact with the material world outside the dreaming. As the child grows up, their dreams will typically be very closely tied to the dreaming realm, either influencing it more strongly or revealing events going on in the dream. Eventually, they will undergo chrysalis, the process by which they awaken their Fae heritage powers, Fae puberty. What makes Changeling special is their duality, the balance between their twin heritages. They are afflicted and sustained by both glamour and banality. Too much banality, and their Fae soul will die, leaving them a mundane human. Too much glamour, and they will suffer bedlam, a madness that blinds the Changeling to what's real and what's not. A phenomenon closely related to the Changelings is the mists, a force that hides the supernatural from mortal eyes. The mists will cause mortals to bear witness to supernatural events, to rationalize them away. That wasn't a wizard throwing a fireball, it was a gas line exploding. That wasn't Mothman, it was a big scary bird. That wasn't a murderous, unseelie assassin, it was just my mother-in-law at Thanksgiving. As part mortals, the mists can also affect changelings, making it all the more important that Changeling balance their glamour and banality so that they can tell what's what in the world around them. Fairies have an entire society of nobles and commoners as politically complex as a Camarilla crack house, so we'll be tackling that in its own video. Our focus now is on changelings and their place in it all. Even though they can survive banality more easily than pure Fae can, they still need glamour in their lives. As such, few Fae of any kind are truly lone wolves, and the vast majority seek out Fae society, if anything, for the purpose of sustaining themselves. New changelings are fostered by a mentor, who instructs them in the intricacies of Fae society. Once they're ready, Fae elders perform a ceremony called the Seining, where they give the changeling their true name, and induct them formally as a member in society, whatever that role may be. A large part of Fae society is the concept of justice, righting wrongs, fixing slights, evening debts, etc. However, in classic Fae fashion, their sense of justice is entirely warped to mortal sensibilities. Fae stories typically feature dishonest mortals being punished with a wildly disproportionate retribution, as fits their view of what justice means. In relation to other supernatural creatures, Fae are a mixed bag. Vampires rarely spare a thought for the Fae, if they're aware of them at all. Fae tend to ignore vampire history and attribute them as being wayward Fae, with a particular interest in their immortality. A lot of Fae feel strong longing for the times when they didn't need to fear death, and are willing to bargain for it with blanks. You can guess how well that goes for all parties involved. Werewolves have a testy relationship with the Fae, with each typically blaming the other for the state of the world, although plenty of shape-changers have a positive relationship with the Fae, and even visit the Dreaming on the regular. Mages are a bit more complicated in the eyes of the Fae. While perfectly capable of being friendly and helpful in sustaining the healthy ecosystem of the realms outside material reality, plenty of mages also come to the Dreaming to sap it of energy to empower themselves, or worse, bring banality with their steps. Take a wild guess how the Fae feel about the technocracy. Wraiths and Fae don't have any particular relationships to make note of. Wraiths are typically occupied with their fetters, the physical objects that matter most to them in life, and their passions, what feelings most powerfully drive them. If a Fae should dick around with those things, the ghost will care a great deal. Otherwise, Wraiths may not even be aware of Fae at all. The same goes for Fae, who aren't likely to care much about random spirits unless a shadow-possessed Wraith starts sucking their glamour. Hunters tend to kill shit dead in stupid ways all the time. As you can expect, Fae avoid them as much as possible. Mummy books almost never mention Fae, while Fae books say mummies are actually servants of Fae and swore oaths to them for their immortality, and Fae were totally super important and powerful in mummy history all along. Do you see why this is so hard? Do you see when one game line's lore contradicts and entangles itself in another's? Like, oh my god. Anyway, Fae see demons as ancient Fae that were sealed away for being super evil. Demons hear this and answer with lol, lamau even. Demons love trapping Fae in oaths that make them subservient to their ends. And after all the Fae washing of other supernatural's history so far, I find that hilarious. Overall, I'm not the biggest fan of the Fae. They're petty, egotistical, and bogged down in soap opera politics, without the goth aesthetics of the vampires that make it worth dealing with their drama. But, in their defense, what else should you expect from a fairy?